Dr. Machina.
Thank you.
Indeed, we will invite our next speaker to take the panel, take the mic, so to speak. Again, just for those who in our listening audience, we'll be talking about infrastructure development in Africa, effects of COVID-19 on economic and resources out there, and debt relief and debt forgiveness for African countries. It's quite a daunting task, and you saw that Dr. Machina was able to do it quite well. So our next speaker is Guy Djoken. He's the chairman of the U.S. National Commission for UNESCO Clubs, Centers, and executive director of UNESCO Center for Peace. So without any further ado, please join me in welcoming Mr. Guy Djoken. The mic is yours, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eric. I would like, first of all, to thank our sister Mary for inviting us, for bringing us together today. And also a good friend of mine, Aisha Biro, who was the point of contact that actually brought all of us together. I think there's nothing more important than creating network, okay? We are debating here on a topic that for me I think is very, very crucial. There's no future of the world without a future in Africa. And I want to thank you. And our sister, Dr. Pauline, it's amazing because she actually almost said, oh, what? Let's just conclude the program, because she kind of touched all the major things that I had in mind. And I really want to commend her for the exhaustive presentation, because she definitely knows what she's talking about. You can feel the passion she has, and I really want to commend her. And I think that going out of here, we're definitely going to have a plan after we hear what I'm going to say. So given that she's talked about a lot of statistics and factual, I will definitely not repeat some of the amazing things she talked about. So when I was invited to talk about this, the first thing in my mind was that, yes, here we are, 70 years, 60 years after the independence, in what is so-called independence in Africa, and talking about infrastructures. And in the middle of a pandemic. So what is the state of infrastructure in Africa? The previous speaker actually did a very good job and talking about the state of what's happening in our continent. I'm going to go one by one. The first thing, when I hear of infrastructure development in Africa, I want first of all to say, watch Africa grow, watch democracy grow in Africa. It's actually a very important concept. Not just the organization, you planning this actually, it's your name says it all. And when we look at Africa, we had the first independence in the year 60s, and we are here almost, 60, 70 years down the road, and we still, we don't have a clear path moving forward, ways to take care of our young Africans. One of the challenges we had is the fact that when we talk about education, we actually don't have an infrastructure. We don't have a structure in Africa that value education in the sense that something that I really call education. Look at how many young people in Africa are graduating from our university and school, and what is happening. They graduate, and then the next thing, they're outside, almost not productive. Why? Because we are still, in many of our countries in Africa, we still have in the place the system that was created by the masters, those who colonized us. And I think the previous speaker actually really did very good in showing that. And how can, when the colonizers came to Africa, And imagine what they did. They put a system, an education system in place to serve them. It wasn't for our own good. The small infrastructure they put in place, the railroad they put in place, and all those things was to take our resources and send back to the West. We have some railroads that were there. We had some few things, some few roads that were there, but they put a minimum that is going to allow them to take things and send back to their countries and send back to them. And that's one of the reasons they never, we talk also about the industrialization, we don't have a thriving manufacturing system in Africa because of that. So there is a lack of educational, I would say, educational infrastructure in Africa because, yes, we are still, our government have not liberated us from that past that is still haunting us. So we need an educational infrastructure, an education that is going to be there to serve the purpose. Many of us are lucky we've been to some of the best universities around the world, but we know what happened when you come back to, specialties. When you come and present your certificate from African countries, oh, we are not at the level, you have to do this, you need to take this many credit, you need to go back, you may need to start again. You see doctors, people coming from Africa with doctorate, and what they get to the US or to other Western countries, what are they doing? You see them in McDonald's, you see them driving cabs, Uber, and all those things. Why? Because the system that we have in place is not working. Talking about industrialization. A few years back, I was in Guinea, Conakry. I had someone, an officer from the country, was telling me that almost 80% of the food being produced in the rural area did not reach those who needed the most in the capital, like Conakry. For me, that was a scandal to hear someone saying that, and that was something, oh, it's natural.
So where did you go to? Just go inside and stay.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Eric, are you there?
Yes, I am there. I apologize. It looks like someone may have inadvertently interrupted.
Okay.
Go ahead and ask everyone at this time, make sure your phones are on mute. Okay. This is taking place live. We certainly don't want to impact or disturb the speaker. Please.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So I was just mentioning that it is a pity to see that we are here thinking about the growth and development, and we have our agriculture people, our parents, that are spending a lot of time, energy, and resources producing goods that they cannot even take that good to the market, to people who need it. People are starving in Conakry and this and that, and then there's food being produced back in the rural area, but we cannot even get that food. Imagine that. So again, the most important thing for us is that we need, just like our sister was saying earlier, we need to take a total 360-degree from what we inherited from colonization. So education, we need to create our own form of education. That's going to be necessary to actually empower people to create. As you've seen, we have the intellect, the capacity, just like any other person. All we need in Africa is the condition for these bright brains, to be able to create, and I'm sure that we'll be able to create a system, an education system, that is going to be able to empower people and get us, from the lethargy that we've seen since the colonization to the where we need to be tomorrow. Another impact is electrification. Dr. Pauline also mentioned the lack of electricity. Imagine a country like Nigeria. Just take a moment and think about the amount of energy, the amount of oil that has left Nigeria since the independence. And yet this country cannot, and this is a shame, cannot provide electricity to its people, the basic needs to its people. So it's not, I'm touching all this to say that the lack of infrastructure in our continent has nothing to do with the absence of capacity of our people receiving all that infrastructure. The government system that we have in place has been totally corrupted from the beginning and needs to be changed. And that's where my call today is not to say, oh, what do we have now? Is to, how can we, as a member of the diaspora, bring about a real change that's going to tap on the creativity of our people, that is going to create an environment that is going to allow us to really change the momentum and create a system in place that is going to empower our brother and sister. Talking about healthcare, you guys, you know, I am from Cameroon. A number of years ago, the situation is dire right now, but it's nothing new. A number of years ago, we have a woman that was pregnant. She went to the hospital and then they asked her to give money before she could deliver. In the process, she had to die in front of people. And this is how many years after the independence? A country like Cameroon, with the natural resources that Cameroon has, is not even able to organize an African Cup of Nations, something that literally is supposed to be helping the government. Not because we don't have resources, not because I don't have money, but just the management of the system. That's something that I think is at the heart of the lack of infrastructure in our country. So today, we know there's just no way, there's no development without access to internet. Not only we are lacking in Africa about internet, but the other day I had an event just like this one we are organizing, and we had an amazing young lady from Kenya that joined the program, okay, Faith. And I was scared at the end of the program for her to tell me that it costs her $30 to participate in a program, $30 US in order to participate in a program on Zoom. How are we going to develop our motherland with this kind of, what I would say, again, I couldn't believe that. When we talk about countries in Africa that are actually doing well in terms of internet access and things like that, Kenya come on the top. But yet, for someone there to participate in a program like this one, it costs her that amount of money that she doesn't have. So I'm very, despite all this, I'm someone that's very, very hopeful. Why am I hopeful? I'm hopeful because I know that we in Africa have the brain that's needed. All we need is the environment. In 2014, the international community came out with this decade, the decade for people of African descent. For me, that decade is the platform that could actually be very, very helpful to us, not just us in diaspora, us back home, to come out with a new beginning. When during the independence, we all know what happened. You know, we had some of the founding fathers in Africa. When Dr. Pauline was telling about Pan-Africanism, I just like, yes, because I'm also, I really believe in Pan-Africanism, okay? Unfortunately, some of the leaders that were pushing towards, like Kwame Nkrumah, that were pushing for Africanism, were put on the side by the colonial masters that realized that if we were to be united, that would be a danger for them because they couldn't spoliate our natural resources, right? So Kwame Nkrumah was one of those, Sékou Touré in Guinea, that end up being, you know, some would call a dictator, yes, but he was facing some of the most oppressive tactics from the France to destroy his country, to serve as a lesson. So when we look forward, I'm thinking about this decade for people of African descent, which is starting in 2015 to be ending in 2024. So we have 4 years left, because when we have this international institution creating platform for us to use to achieve some of the, to reduce some of the gap that exists, I think this platform gives us member of the diaspora, an opportunity to have what I will say a new independence for Africa. At the moment, we have the tools that are needed. Me, as a head of the U.S. National Commission for UNESCO Club Center Association, we are planning a mega event sometime next year where we are going to invite the people from African descent from across the globe to come together and have a new roadmap made by African for Africa to make sure that we can have a new directions in Africa. We can have all the national resources that we have, we could use them for the sake of developing our mother continent. The roads are totally inexistent in Africa. But I was lucky enough 25 years ago when I left Cameroon to go to West Africa. West Africa actually for me is an area, unfortunately, you still have French-speaking countries in this part of the continent that are actually slowing the progress and the integration because France is really interfering with the management, with ECO. They are trying to have their common currency over there, and France, which is one of the colonial masters, is still using some of the French puppet to block progress over there. But I strongly believe the West African, just like the East Africa. I remember last time I was traveling to Kenya, we were able to have one visa, and you can go to all the countries in the sub-region. These are the kind of things that we need in order to develop Africa. So West Africa has proven that there's a possibility to have an integrated region where the citizens are going to be at the forefront. And in that process, there's also one institution in West Africa that I think needs to be created in other part of Africa. The West African Court. The West African Court. That is a legal structure that's in West Africa that can, every single member of ECOWAS that is frustrated, that has his right violated, could call this court, and the court actually is known to make decisions against country. Against country. I had a case of a young Nigerian that was brutalized by the security, I think, in Benin, and the court was able to get the government Benin to pay reparation for this person. So I want to summarize by saying that, yes, Africa, we don't have infrastructure right now. It doesn't matter the amount of money that we pour in Africa, that is not going to solve our problem until we have in place a system to make sure that that money doesn't go in the pocket of the people running. I just mentioned a moment ago about the sad state of Cameroon, one of the wealthiest country in Africa, in Central Africa, with the natural resources, incapable of organizing an African Cup. And furthermore, the World Bank at some point was pointing out Cameroon, singling out Cameroon in a joking way, saying, okay, the same project, that have been done in Cameroon, whether infrastructure or not, done in Africa, in Cote d'Ivoire, compared country, were done 4 times in Cameroon. The same project will cost 4 times more. So you have 1 million to build a road in Cameroon. The same road built in Cote d'Ivoire that has almost the same infrastructure will cost 4 times more. And then, so these are some of the challenges that we have in Africa. The other time I also traveled in Chad, where I've seen some roads that were built halfway because they said the company, Razel, as it was called, received the contract and then started building the road, and then down in the middle of the road, the fund, they don't know what happened to the fund. So here we have half a road that's been there for 10 years. And in the meantime, when it's raining, people are dying because the flood is going on around and killing people. So all these problems are not going to be resolved simply by asking foreign direct investment to be pumped into Africa. We need, as people of African descent, to create the conditions that are going to allow us to have a say in the way things are happening in our country. Internet is imperative. So we are talking about electricity. We have sun, and today solar energy is coming cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Just imagine for a moment we have the capacity of deploying solar energy in Africa, places like Mali, places like Niger and other places. We have the tools that can allow us to really get to Africa where every single person on this call believe and care about Africa. What we need to do to get to that Africa, yes, democracy is I would say is imperative. And democracy is not necessarily mean that what we are seeing from the West. Democracy just means that our people need to know that they are accountable, okay, to the people, those who are governed those who are governing should have the consent of those who are governed. Once we do that and we create the conditions, so my solution is this: we need more activism in Mother Africa. And all the activists in Africa, I think, should work together. We should create a condition by which all the activists, where it doesn't matter what country we are coming from, we can come together, just like we remember how the independence of Africa started. We have few countries were getting together, plotting a better path for Africa. I think we need, as Africans, to come together and create a new movement, a new condition that are going to empower our people and make sure that the killings that we are seeing every single day, either in Cameroon or Nigeria or all over places, are stopped. There need to be some accountability, and we together can help make that happen. So on that, I want to thank again our sister Mary. This is just a heart-to-heart. You allow me to really get out of my chest some of the pain that I've been seeing in the newspaper in the last couple of days and here. But I'm here, I'm very, very optimistic, despite the fact that when you look at what's happening, we tend to be sad, and you tend to give up. I'm one of those that believe that the best is yet to come. We just need to work together. And like I stated, I'll be reaching out to Mary and others to invite all of you next year when we have an event dedicated for people of African descent, where I hope through that a platform like that one, bringing all the best and brightest Black people from around the world, we could chart a new map. You could have a new roadmap for the next millennium for Africa, because a best Africa is a best world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Guy Djoken.